Welcome to Dhammapada. The Dhammapada is a collection of sayings of the Buddha in verse form in the Pali language. It is one of the most widely read and best-known Buddhist scriptures. At the end of this video, the original verse is given, so do stay till the end. Let us first start with the story related to this verse.
Not thinking of wrongs removes hatred. Once upon a time, the Buddha told a story of one of the previous births of Thera to all the gathered monks. In that earlier birth, Tisit was an ascetic called Dhammapada, who had cursed another ascetic named Narada. Tisit had cursed that the rays of the sun will shatter the head of Narada. Narada knew that the curse would boomerang on Tisit, and so he sat in meditation. Using his meditative power, Narada moved a very dense black cloud and hid the sun with that cloud. As a result, the city of Benares was engulfed in darkness, and the king of Benares became worried. He sent his men to make inquiries. His men reported that the darkness was due to a curse given by Dhammapada. The virtuous king approached the ascetic Dhammapada to find a solution. Dhammapada had no more enmity for Narada, but he had no power to take back his curse. Then the king noticed a brilliant light coming from a hut. The light was bright yet soothing. The king seemed to feel as if it was a divine light. The king entered the hut and saw a very bright aura emanating from the body of the meditating Narada. He humbly approached Narada and, after offering his due respects, requested Narada to find a solution. Narada offered a solution to the king. Narada told the king that if the rays of the sun fall on some object other than the head of Dhammapada, then that object will get shattered, and the head of Dhammapada would remain safe. Then Narada told Dhammapada to put a lump of clay on his head and immerse himself in the river Ganges. Dhammapada should immerse himself in such a manner that the head of Dhammapada remains under the water, and only the lump of clay should be visible above the water. Dhammapada did as instructed. The king and his retinue also accompanied him to the bank of the river. Narada was a highly spiritually advanced ascetic. With his meditative power, he moved the cloud away, and the sun rays fell on the lump of clay on the head of Dhammapada. As the rays of the sun fell on the lump of clay, the curse of Dhammapada took effect, and the lump of clay was shattered to innumerable small pieces. Thereafter, Dhammapada came out of the river safe and alive. The dark clouds had gone away, and the city of Benares once again shone with the brilliance of the sun. The king, after paying homage to Narada, also left for his palace. Then the Buddha told the gathered monks that the king of Benares was Ananda, and he was the ascetic Narada.
People are social in nature. While living in society, people tend to quarrel with one another over small issues. These conflicts cause mental harassment and emotional outbursts. Each quarreling party thinks that they have been wronged by the other party. By constantly thinking of the wrongs done by others, the anger of a person grows. It gives rise to such an emotional state where the person never ceases to think of the wrongs done and always remains angry. The angry person thinks of different ways of avenging the wrongs. When a person holds that he was insulted, assaulted, defeated, or robbed, his anger continues to increase. The more he goes on thinking these thoughts, the greater becomes his desire for revenge. But if that person no longer thinks those thoughts, then his anger goes away. He will forgive and forget the wrongs done. Then the person finds peace within himself. Forgiving and forgetting can be done by interpreting the situation in a different manner. The Buddha always preached not to retaliate, but to practice patience and peace at all times and places, even under provocation. The Buddha praises those who forbear the wrongs of others, even though they have the power to retaliate. Patience and peace are not signs of weakness or defeatism, but they are the unfailing strengths of great men and women. With patience and peace, every quarrel can be resolved, and enmity subsides.
Thank you for listening to this inspiring story. May the words of the Buddha guide your path to wisdom, compassion, peace, love, harmony, and mindfulness. Do subscribe, like, and comment.